Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to obviously the football takeover. I'm G Talks Arsenal, your host, obviously for what is a little bit of a unexpected stream. Let's just say it wasn't part of our plan for the streams this week, but a little bit of a heated debate discussion. Kicked off in the Discord earlier, and we thought, what better than to just bring it, live to the people between now and obviously last night's game and our game at the weekend. But before we get into it, obviously this is the football breakdown episode 1. We're going to be looking at the big question. I think that's on everybody's mind as an Arsenal fan is why are we not scoring? What's happened to us offensively? We're going to be looking at obviously tactics. We're going to be looking at players. We're going to be looking at manager. We're going to be looking at recruitment. I'm sure all the different reasons and rationales are going to come up in tonight's show. But before we get into it, obviously I want to welcome obviously our panelists. So we've got Coach Ali. How you doing, bro?
Yes, boys, not too bad, not too bad. Thought we'd go again after last night, come again. Well, you done it once, it had to be done twice.
Definitely,
Hopefully a little bit
definitely.
calmer today. A little bit calmer today.
Well, definitely you will be a little bit calmer today. Last night was good. It was good. It was good. It was raw
When's
emotion,
he
wasn't
ever
it?
come?
That's the thing about instant match reactions is that there's that raw emotion. But it always comes from a good place, because we're all passionate Arsenal fans. We all want the best for the club, so it is what it is. We've also got Brenny, OG Brenny. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. The day hasn't been bad. Yeah, it was just I was just thinking like, yeah, we got through last night, but when I look at the other three semi-finalists and how they got through with their attacking approach, and so we can talk defenses and all of that, but when you got two sides like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, there was always going to be goals in that. But,
Mm.
but yeah, but I just think I mean, we'll get into it in a few weeks, but yeah, Atletico, think it worries me, concerns me,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
I'm good, and yeah,
yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, it's going to be a worry, and I think the biggest thing this is the reason why we're doing this show because I think the biggest worry for all Arsenal
Mm.
fans at the right moment is where's the next goal coming from? Who's going to score it? How are we going to create it? And how are we going to do this consistently to actually get over the line? Because a complete reliance on the defense between now and to the end of the season is not really sustainable, in my opinion. But we'll chop it up. We'll chop it up. We've also got Neil, aka Dodsey. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, very good, guys. How are we all doing?
Cheers.
Welcome everyone to the show, and welcome
Raja.
Raja, mate. Nice to meet you, buddy.
You better put your
Glad to
glasses on,
have you on
mate.
the show, mate. I'm using my phone, man, and it's
Oh, well done.
like literally. And
It's
usually I
not
got my
it's not
laptop.
as efficient as your laptop, is it?
Mate, normally I've got my laptop set up, mate, but my laptop's on charge. So yeah, I don't want to have to do what I did last night and have to dip out quickly. So no, it's all good, boys. Yeah, really good. Really excited about the little bit of content we're going to do tonight. I think it's a really good conversation. I think there's been a lot of
Right.
I think there's been a lot of things happening, on all platforms, including our little
Mhm.
Discord we got going on as well.
Mhm.
And I think airing this and getting it out because there's a lot of frustration surrounding our attack.
Mhm.
And I think getting the views of all the panel
Mhm.
tonight, is not only good for everyone in our community, but also for us as well because I have frustrations.
Definitely.
And I've got questions that I hope other people on the channel might make clearer for
Mhm.
me as well. So I think
Mhm.
it's really good. I'm looking forward to the show.
Wicked, wicked. Geeks, what's going on, bro?
Hello, my friend. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Come
you
After
on,
last
loud and
night.
Geeksy.
clear.
Hey.
He's in.
Good to see you all, boys. Happy to be back. Welcome, Raja. And everybody watching, please hit the like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. So we're talking about the attack today, and this is something that has been a major concern for me since the United game. First game of the season. I was like, what on earth was that? And so getting into
Yeah.
it, we've had a change of personnel but no
Mhm.
change of approach, and it is just kind of like this has been
Mhm.
for me the biggest issue this season. So yeah, happy to get into it with you boys.
Definitely. And obviously, last but not least, I want everybody to give a warm welcome to Raja.
There you go.
You're on mute,
Be
Roger.
on mute.
Yep.
Come on,
Thank you.
Ledge.
Yeah, thank you all for having me on the show. Really,
So how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, buzzing after last night. When have we ever reached back-to-back semifinals? It's been so long. And back to the attack question, right? The one thing that really impressed me yesterday is the midfield got back together. The one thing I didn't see in the Bournemouth game was the midfield. The midfield was making mistakes. They were getting pressed, and they were giving the ball away. But yesterday, Zubimendi, man of the match, Rice, obviously all over, played like an actual captain. And Eze, I was buzzing to finally see Eze start. He had this little flick around the defender. So that gave me hope.
Okay.
I think front line is a problem. I agree with everybody. Madueke, Martinelli, Gyökeres is a little bit worrisome, but I think the midfield is giving me a lot of confidence. I think we can work from there to see where our attack goes.
No problem. We'll get into the front line. I thought you was gonna go straight in, but you.
Yeah, I was like, pause on it. Hold on, sir.
So far so good. Before we obviously get into the show, I'm just gonna hand over to Ali because obviously we'll hand over to the panel. Earlier today, we I don't know who initially broke the news, but obviously the tragic news that Alex Manninger, a previous Arsenal player, died. I believe it was at the age of 48, and I believe it's a car crash. Really, really tragic news for him, his family, and obviously for all Gooners around the world. So, Ali, over to you, and anybody obviously that wants to say a few words with regards the sad news.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what is life, huh? 47, 48 years old. Jota in the summer just gone. And Liverpool lost a legend, and we've lost a legend here. People think David Seaman this, David Seaman that, but without Alex Manninger, we're not winning that double. Without those saves that he was making at Sellers Park back in the day, in that 98 season, what an absolute true professional. He deserves the accolades and the respect I'm giving him personally. I'm sure everyone else will do the same. And the Arsenal community are far from the football takeover as well. One of the best second choice goalkeepers that we've ever had. Safe pair of hands. He was brave in his approach. He took it on after one of the icons, one of the best goalkeepers in the game in David Seaman. And for Alex Manninger, I shouldn't say him, he's got a name. Alex Manninger to do what he'd done in those last 10, 12 games in the Premier League when he was called upon. Sensational stuff. Upton Park, never forget it. That save. Oh man, it's sad. It's sad. And I hope the existing players take note and hopefully they get inspired by this tragic loss for Arsenal Football Club and obviously Alex Manninger's family. And I really do hope these Arsenal play a fantastic tribute to Alex Manninger on our next home game. And I really do hope these players take note of how a legend is made at Arsenal Football Club, because he knew he was not playing every single game. And when he came in for David Seaman,
he was ready.
He was ready, and he done the business. He was part of that cup double. Without Alex Manninger, Arsenal would not have won the double that year, in my personal opinion. And we would not have clawed Man United back after the Overmars Old Trafford. Then after that, it was Alex Manninger and Nicolas Anelka that took us to the promised land. And it's amazing how life works and how conversations go. We were speaking on this last night about how these players need to focus and lock in, and they're 3-4 games away from being talked about in the same breath as Alex Manninger. Sol Campbell and Patrick Vieira and the like. And if they can't get inspired by that and put their differences aside with the coach and the staff and so on and so forth, more fool them, because Alex Manninger proves to me back then, and even it proves to me even right now in 2026 that what I said last night, I'm spot on with what I'm saying about these players. Own the game yourself. Be selfish. It's a position where all eyes are on you. And if you make one mistake, the ball's in the back of the net. And if he can do that in goal, Alex Manninger, over the years gone by, these players have no excuse to be putting every single ounce of effort in on Sunday and beyond, with that black armband on as well, especially at the Etihad for Alex Manninger this weekend. It's all there for us all to see, boys. I'll leave it there. What an amazing person, as far as I'm aware. Humble, quiet guy, safe pair of hands, Mr. Reliable, Alex Manninger. What an absolute legend, and it was an absolute pleasure to have him part of Arsenal's history. And let's hope that these boys can add and put themselves in that same bracket as Alex Manninger.
Well said, mate.
Well said.
I just think on a human level, love and strength to his family and his loved ones. You don't know life's plan. So for all of us, it's just trying to make sure that you don't get distracted by the inane and the unimportant, and do your best with every day you've got, really. So it's to be mindful when there are men like Alex Manninger at 48, Jota losing their lives untimely. Go and live your best life.
Definitely. And yeah, so I think Ali and Geeks, I think you put it beautifully right there. I think an absolutely amazing tribute to the man, to the player. And just want to say lastly, obviously, from everyone here at the Football Takeover, and I'm sure for all Gooners around the world, condolences and best wishes and prayers to him and his family. So yeah, amen. Right, so we've got a show to do now, and what we're going to do is we're going to give the floor to Raja. We're going to give you the floor. Okay, this is your debut. This is your first appearance here on the Football Takeover. So the question for tonight's show is, why can't we score goals? So I want you to give us your reason, your rationale as to why we're struggling as a team offensively. You can talk about tactics, you can talk about players, you can talk about recruitment, you can talk about anything you want with regards to the reason and the rationale behind right now why we're struggling to score goals. So over to you, Bill.
Yeah.
Go on, Raja.
Well, I mean, it's the front line. The front line of Madueke, Martinelli, and Gyökeres has never worked. Our manager is a bit stubborn. He's achieved everything, but he's a little stubborn. I'm his biggest fan. I'm one of his biggest fans. I've supported him all the way through. Even now, I support him. I totally believe he can get it done. But the front line just doesn't work. We have these midfielders supplying them the balls, and they're all technical runners, but they cannot retain the ball. Yesterday, if you saw against Sporting, they kept losing the ball every time. Madueke is running around the defenders, losing the ball. Martinelli is somewhat in this weird position where he has to track back, go in front, and the left-hand side was pretty much non-functional yesterday at all. So I think our front line is definitely missing that difference maker of both Odegaard and Saka. If you look at the big chances created chart for the entire Premier League, both Saka and Odegaard, after missing all of these games, are top 7 in that. So if you're missing 2 people in the top 7 of big chances created, you are going to have a problem. I'm also going to say the last 3 games where we lost against Bournemouth, Southampton, Eze wasn't there. And I believe Eze in the midfield is going to help solve a little bit of problems. Yesterday, you could see him play a bunch of through balls that our forward line did not take advantage of at all. But I think where the goals are going to come, it's coming through Eze. Eze is going to come in. He's going to supply those balls, and we're going to score. We're going to score through that. Zubimendi had that much confidence performance yesterday. So I think he yesterday his forward passing was off the charts. We've been saying that Zubimendi is sideways and passing back, but yesterday's forward passing was off the charts. So I think after the Bournemouth game, there's been a little bit of talk in the dressing room, I would say, to basically kind of get our midfielders to take more responsibility. And I think the goals are coming through the midfield. On Sunday, though, I do want to see Dauman, Havertz start and Martinelli start instead of Gyökeres. There's a lot of talk on right. Our system is not playing to Gyökeres' strength and all of that. Some part of that is also because of Victor. I mean, when have we seen Victor? Like, how many times have you seen Victor face the midfield than actually face the other goalkeeper? He's always like trying to receive the ball and make a pass forward. I was screaming at my TV yesterday where there was this one ball that Victor should have shot, but he passed it to Eze, like he crossed it to the side of Eze, and I'm like, why are you not taking a shot? The one gift that he has is his shooting. Victor is shooting one gift that he has. I think, if I'm not mistaken, his conversion, like shot ratio to conversion ratio, is like either 67% or 72%.
It's pretty high.
It's like really high. So when he's like taking shots, he's going to convert. I want to see improvement from him. Yes, sometimes the tactics have not been great for him, but I want to see him face the goal. I want to see him take shots. That's what he was doing for Sporting. I mean, he was taking shots. He was running at defenders. He was doing all of that. But here, it just seemed. I think it's a mental block that he has with our system. But yeah, I think Victor is going to come on against City, I hope, and probably score the winning goal if we can have some as well.
Cool. I've got some good, well done. I mean, and I don't mean that in any kind of condescending way. I think you put your points across really, really well there. I've got some questions. I've got some questions.
Me too.
Nobody said anything. We're all like,
but we're gonna take our turns. So I want to give everybody the floor because obviously some of the points of view that you might hear will be some of the kickbacks, will be some of the counter arguments. So I'm gonna resist, particularly as the host. I'm gonna resist, and I'm gonna go straight to Geeks, who's directly beneath you right there on the screen. So Geeks, have your say. Obviously, you've heard from Raja. This isn't necessarily a kickback to him. If you have a contrasting view, this is just your opportunity to let us know. Obviously, you can by all means challenge some of the things that
address
you said.
someone. Yeah, of course.
You can address them, but ultimately, this is about answering the question of the show, which is why can't we score goals? Is it tactics? Is it players? Is it recruitment? Whose fault is it? Why is it not working for us? Off you go.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, we are scoring goals. When you ever look at the Premier League, cold hard facts is we're up there with City for goals scored. So we are, we are scoring goals. I think fundamentally it comes down to the system, and what Arteta wants is what is reflected this season. And the reason why I say that is because apart from Gyökeres, all of these players have been in an Arteta team that has scored lots of goals. They've all attacked. They've a couple of years ago, we were quite free flowing in our football and ended up empty handed. And I think he's taken a very pragmatic approach to this season. I feel where the management of the squad comes in, I feel like there has been a lot of changing at key times and relationships haven't been forged in the attack. So Raja was mentioning Gyökeres, and the thing is, Gyökeres is one in the attacking lineup that gets a pass from me this season. He's had to come over, adjust to the new league, change of home, all of that sort of stuff. And he's still looking like he's going to have a 20-goal plus season. I I think it's very hard when you're a striker in a new team and the pressure is on you, when there is such an inconsistency in the way that a ball is delivered. When he was playing for Sporting, he was very much a counter-attacking team. I feel like Gyökeres would have slotted into the United squad in how they play football, and Sesko would have slotted into the Arsenal squad in how we play football.
Yeah.
We put crosses into the box, and that's not Gyökeres' game. What Gyökeres is doing, you've only got to watch him. Go and pick any games you like. Gyökeres loiters around the edge of the 18-yard box in the build-up of play, usually. And he's delaying his run, trying to anticipate what is happening with the ball. And I'm like, come on, if you think Marino now, Marino goes and hits the near post. That's why he keeps popping up with these goals. He goes and he's direct. Is Marino a better striker than Gyökeres? Absolutely not. He's just a lot clearer and more decisive in what he does. He's got like one or two things that he does, and that's where he goes. And I feel that that's where Gyökeres is finding his feet. He's kind of always, and I would say this for all of the attack, they all have the same problem. Rather than looking towards the defender, timing your run and going, right? Yeah, you've got to kind of look for the flight of the ball and all the rest of it. But a lot of these players, before the ball is played, is looking to see even if the ball is going to be played to them. There is nothing instinctive that happens. So, you know, how we flight a ball, play a ball, it is all like Declan Rice bursting into the edge of the area yesterday, the first half. Crowd goes, shoot. It wasn't on his mind. And then he took a shot and he kind of didn't get it on target. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that doesn't happen instinctively with this team, because I feel like at key times Arteta has rotated too much. The biggest thing for me is when I was watching the game like yesterday, I keep raising this. Our defensive players are in positions where I want our attacking players to be. So you will find at any given game, Timber, Nkapie, Gabriel, Saliba, in key areas around the box. That's where I want Odegaard, Zubi, Eze, Havertz. I want those sort of players on the ball, because they will play that pass quicker because they see it quicker, and they know what they want as an attacker. The defenders are prone to playing it sideways, and it just breaks down so many times. We're trying to fool their defense by putting an extra body up there, and it's a defensive body, and I don't feel like it adds anything meaningful to the attack. I feel like it makes us more clunky. It slows the gameplay down. And I think Raja raises a really important point. If we're talking prime, not just the players that we've had, because let's face it, they've both been very, very poor for the past year. Mitigating circumstances aside, a prime Odegaard and a prime Saka is something that is heavily missed by this team.
Yes. Different team,
different team. If we're talking prime Saka right now, on that right wing, and what that means to what the opposition has to do to defend that, or a prime Odegaard that was inclined to take shots from the edge of the box, we're a completely different prospect, and being able to play a ball through and all of the rest of it. So I think we are a victim of circumstances with personnel. I think Arteta is far too pragmatic. He's got the lactic acid building in the final 50 meters of a 400-meter race, and he's tying up and he can't see the woods for the trees. And I think the system doesn't help our players. We've signed two players in Eze and Gyökeres, and we play round the edges of them rather than through them. And we don't play centrally, and I think this is another big issue. So that is my immediate opening, guys. That's where I stand in why we are struggling.
Mate, I think Arteta's got a hamstring injury in the last 50 meters, mate. Let's be honest.
No problem. Brenny, over to you. You've heard obviously from Raja, you've heard from Geeks. Now you have your moment to have your say.
Yeah, where do I begin? I mean, I was a former centre forward, so you know what I mean. It's like for me, on a personal level, when I was scoring goals, the teams that I was in played to my strengths, because I was very quick. I was very, very fast, and I had a good first touch, everything else, and I had a good eye for goal. But for me, I'd always beat the last defender, and then the ball, it could be a played over the top or through the middle. and you're not catching me. You're not catching me. That was basically how I scored my goals. Gyökeres, I see similarities in that, especially the goals that he scored when he was at Lisbon, and basically when he thrived on those balls, and and what I like about him, he always makes. He's been doing it all season where he makes the runs, but he doesn't always get the ball that he wants. And there is times where he's had stinkers, but then for me, it's his first season back in English football. Not be top, not top flight football, but first back in English football. And he's one of those players for me that I think next season he'll hit 30 plus. I wouldn't be surprised if he hit 30 plus next season, and we're in March, end of March. I just feel also, just to echo also what Geek said. There's no what's the word? If it was a case of if it was say Saka on the right, you got I would say Eze or even Odegaard from, I'm not talking Odegaard this season or last season, Odegaard from a few seasons ago. You've got Trossard as well. If you had those guys playing together consistently, maybe 7, 8, 9 games in a row, you get there'd be understanding. I know they share an understanding on the training pitch, but obviously when you're playing games home and away, it's different. And I also feel when I look back at it now, I think because there's been a lot of changes, and that's not always been the case for. I mean, we've had that a lot. I feel if we didn't have any injuries in the front three this season, I think Gyökeres would have already scored more goals. I think he himself and Saka, they have. I think before Saka's problems, I thought they actually forged an understanding at last, because at times it didn't look as if the two of them were getting on the pitch, and I thought they forged some sort of understanding. Eze, for me, I think he has an understanding with anybody, and
he's a quality player.
Yeah. What Roger was saying with Eze, I totally agree, because he is key. He is key for us getting silverware right now, even though we're not playing very well, and also feel with our forwards right now, I think it's down to I would say it's not just that manager and how we're playing, because I don't like this system. I think I've told you guys I've never liked this system. I'd rather just see old school football with a plan A and a plan B, and just keep it tight as we do. But yeah, I'm not worried about Gyökeres in terms of his performances. He has been scoring the odd goals in the last few weeks. But you know what? Next season, I'm really looking forward to seeing him next season in particular. And I would be surprised if you get that. It could even be, who knows? It could even be because we don't know what's going to happen over the summer. It could even be Eze in the 10. It could be Gyökeres up front. It could be Saka as well. Still got a big part to play. Well, I say this season because I know he's not out for the rest of the season, is he? So I just also feel that sometimes just put some over the top balls for Gyökeres as well, and it'll just over the shoulder, bang, and it's in the net. We've seen it a few times. His second goal against Tottenham was quite hilarious, because that's that type of goal. He was doing that all last season, and the season before for Sporting. So I just think as long as we can keep players fit, as long as we can keep our attacking free fit, and you'll see better relationships. I think basically it's just coming
Okay.
down to the players have not had very good relationships.
Yeah, I think the point you make there is quite important in terms of, I think sometimes we do forget. I mean, we've seen, we've seen in the likes of Verts and stuff. Verts was bought for like X amount of money. We've seen Isak, bought for X amount of money. We've seen Sesko bought for more money than Gyökeres. These are players that are all, coming back to England or playing in England for the first time, and they have struggled. There seems to be obviously a microscope on Arsenal players and Arsenal transfers like there is with anything that surrounds Arsenal. But yeah, I think you raise an important point. It is his first season back in English football, and it's almost as if he's not been given any type of leeway in terms of transitioning to a new league, all the pressure involved, Arsenal being in a title run, etc. So I think, yeah, very valid point. Ali, I'll come to you because I know Neil, aka Dodsy's just got off screen, so we'll go to him last. So Ali, obviously you've heard from Raja, you've heard from Geeks, you've heard from Brenny. Now it's your time to have your say. Why are we not scoring any goals at the present moment?
I think everyone brings up good points. I think everyone brings up some valid points. It's a little bit of everything, to be honest. I think if we go back to the summer, when you look at the work that Andrea Berta did, the players that we bought in, I think on paper and on, if we go off the names that we bought, you're looking and going, okay, that's fantastic. We're looking good. Madueke back up to Saka. That's solid. No one really wanted him, but we'll take it. Pace is a bit different. Gives the attack on the right-hand side something different in terms of pace and power. Then you're looking on the left-hand side and you're thinking, oh, it's a bit of the same, much of muchness in Trossard and Martinelli. Not ideal. We all know we need a starting left winger. We knew that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and we started the season with that predicament. Trossard started the season well, solid, performing, getting goals. He's tailed off. Mark got 1 goal in the Premier League. That says it all. He's a better runner than he is a football player going forwards in this team, unfortunately, especially this season. That doesn't mean he cannot do it, because a lot of people say, "Oh, Mikel Arteta hasn't really improved everyone." Even Geeks, I think, just mentioned it in one of the comments. But if we are being open and honest, in 2022-23 season, Martinelli had his best season as an attacker. Saka's improved under him as well. Victor Gyökeres this season's got 20 GA in all competitions. That's without any service at all. So on that front, he has improved the odd player here and there. Is it to our Arsenal fans' liking? Is it to my liking personally? Yeah. Obviously not. It needs to be better. It needs to be a lot more consistent. It needs to be a lot more spread out across the pitch more in terms of the improvements in the front line. Then you go to the front line. You got Havertz. Then you got Gyökeres comes in. That's the big signing. And I had no issues with that. I wanted Gyökeres over Sesko. I'll stick by that. I'll stand by that. And he's proving to be that guy. He's robust. He stays fit, unlike Sesko. And Sesko's had some good glimpses and some good moments. Yes, I understand that. I mean, they're all top. They're all good players, if not top players. And Victor Gyökeres this year alone, I think he's second behind Igor Thiago of Brentford in terms of goals scored in the Premier for a striker, if I'm not mistaken. Or he's in the top 3 with your Danny Welbecks and your Gyökereses and your Thiagos. So he's in good company in 2026. And that also proves the point what Brenny was saying in terms of he'll be better in his second season. As the season's gone on, obviously injuries have taken place. And yes, we're going to go back and say, oh, Ali, you're talking about injuries. We got backups for this, that, the other. But the reality is, Havertz got injured first game of the season at Old Trafford. Then we never saw him until October, November, or whenever it was, right, guys? Or even January, maybe the Carabao Cup semi. I can't even remember. That's how long he was out for. Martin Odegaard, Eze's come in. Okay, amazing. he's going to give competition to Odegaard. Odegaard gets injured straight away in the first international break. And he's been injured ever since, to be quite honest. He's been injured for over 150 days of this season so far. That's crazy. And that's meant to be one of our creators. That's meant to be a guy that's meant to be bringing back the 2023 form, because the season before, he was bang average by his standards. And unfortunately, that's carried on for Martin Odegaard, because whenever he gets the ball pulled back to him at the edge of the box, he's scuffing a shot. He scuffed a shot against Southampton at 0-0 or whatever it was. And it's hit the second foot, his standing leg, and gone wide. That's basically summed up Martin Odegaard for the last year and a half, unfortunately. And that's due to lack of playing time, not developing, due to being injured, not being confident in his body to take on these shots, to get into these positions on a regular basis, in my opinion. And unfortunately, that's one Big Ten creator, as Raja said, in the top, was it Raja? Top 7, we got Saka and Odegaard in terms of chance creation.
Yeah.
That's one of our that's one of our creators gone. Then we move on to Saka, coming off a long-term injury in his hamstring, same as Havertz. And he hasn't been the same, lads. He's not been the same since. Now we're hearing rumours that he's got issues with his Achilles. That's probably from overloading. I would like to know which foot that's on, which ankle is playing up. Because if it's the opposite to the hamstring surgery that he's had, he's obviously been overcompensating on that side. So there's some issues with Saka. When I saw him running at the G-Tech, he's very bulky in his lower half of the body now. He used to be like a cheetah. He used to be very wiry, he was skinny explosive, if that makes sense. He wasn't bulky like a sprinter. Now I look at him, and when I see him, I'm like, wow, your legs are massive, mate. And he just can't shift. He can't move through the gears like he used to. He's not as supple. He's very stiff, and that's affected his play. Now, him not playing on the right-hand side has now affected the whole of the front line, because even a Saka off form, he's taken 2-3 players to his side of the pitch, which then opens up the space for the 10 to hit it into the left-hand channel, hit it down the middle to Gyökeres.
Yeah,
exactly. And as the boys have said, Eze and Gyökeres have built up a relationship. But again, injury, I think Gyökeres got injured in November when we played against Burnley. After that game, he got injured. Missed him for a while, 6 games. Then Eze comes into form. He gets injured. Gyökeres is back scoring. And then Eze's missing. So we've been quite unlucky with our injuries this season. And if we're looking at and analysing our attackers and the injuries that they've got, there's a lot of joint injuries. They're not a lot of muscular injuries. So from a sports science point of view and Arteta and staff point of view, they can't do much more than they have in terms of keeping your Havertz's, etc. fit. They cannot control. No one in the world can control someone clattering into you like a Bruno Fernandes did to Havertz's first game of the season, and then he's out with an MCL, PCL, whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? Cartilage damage, so on and so forth. Gabriel Jesus, he's not the same since the World Cup because of the knee injury. We've got a lot of injuries and a lot of players out of form at the same time. There's a lot of hesitation in our passing recently, especially since the cup final, moving it forward into what we're discussing in terms of goals now. And what's the big thing that's missing from our attack and not scoring goals? Set pieces has dried up. Set pieces have dried up, and that's now affecting how we go about playing and breaking teams down. And then there's this nervous energy at the back recently in these past 5-6 games where the Reyes of this world, the Salibas of this world, and the Gabriels of this world, they are not passing the ball into midfield with pace. It's very slow and cumbersome. I don't know if it's a real quote or not, or is it a bit of banter. I think Gyökeres said something about the pitch being dry on the weekend against Bournemouth. Now, again, that's players. I take that as not him saying the pitch is where. I just feel like that's him saying indirectly, I'm getting the ball played to me and it's being under hit. He's not getting the ball into his feet or into the channel with pace so he can run onto it. And that we play to his strengths. And that's where we are. And with our wing backs, if Timber, Calafiori, and Hincapié are not in this side, Arsenal offensively, we are not as good. We are not as good. We are very basic without those three out of the side. And we saw that last night. We saw glimpses of Hincapié improving that side of things in the first 10 minutes. And Mosquera, with his pace and power, allowed Hincapié to go up the pitch a little bit further. Whereas when Ben White's in the team alongside a Mars Lewis Skelly or someone of that caliber, we get exposed going backwards and we don't have enough pace and power in those players to go forwards and join the attack. Like Geeks is saying, if you're going to go up there and congest the areas that the attacker should be in, then you're pointless there. Out of all of them, Calafiori is the best at it. He comes into midfield, he causes chaos. He done it in the Carabao Cup final when he came on. He improved us going forwards, and he was good enough to get back into position because he's got the pace and power to get back to defend. So it's a double-edged sword because the personnel injuries are playing a massive part. Arteta's negativity, his pragmatism is also causing issues here. And and it's the relationships. You can't build like the boys have said, you can't build relationships if every 6 games another attacker gets injured. And if you go and look at our stats through the season, how many games has Saka, Gyökeres, Odegaard, Eze, and let's just say Martinelli or Trossard on that left, for example, how many games have they actually played together this season alone? And the answer is 5 or 10 max. They haven't played more than 10 games in all competitions at the same time from the start of a game to make an impact. So it's very difficult. Now, before you move on, the next part of this question is, the coach can only do so much. And if we're getting bad luck in terms of injuries, where are we sitting in terms of the blame? Because they're all to blame, but what percentage is going where? Because if the players were all fit and we were not executing, I'm putting 90% of the blame on Arteta. But how can we judge our manager and these players as a squad in an attacking sense when we are not getting the availability that we need from our players? Hence why people like Jesus, Havertz, Odegaard, they're in the shop window because they are not available. And because they're only coming into the side spits and spurts here and there, they're looking bang average because they just don't have enough game time. They don't have enough in their legs to be passing the ball quick enough. They're not moving quick enough. They're not mentally switched on to make the pass earlier, quicker, and so on and so forth. It's a lot deeper than, oh, he's not passing him the ball and he's not shooting. There's so many nuances that go on into these tactics and what we are talking about. The defense, the midfield, and the attack, we are not in cohesion for the last 5-6 games all over the pitch. Let alone the attack. So Timber is key to this all, in my personal opinion. Not from an offensive point of view, but what he allows the left-hand side to do in an offensive sense.
And I think this is the beauty though of this stream, because what you're not seeing in this stream, for those of you watching, almost 100 of you watching, and those in the comments, big up your comments and stuff like that. But what you're not seeing here is you're not seeing blindness blame. You're not seeing anybody on the panel just say, this is Arteta, this is Madueke, this
Correct.
is whatever. You're actually seeing a discussion here. You know, from Raja to Geeks to Bernie to Coach Ali, everybody's putting their point across. Everybody's expressing their rationale, their reasons to why we are where we are. And the reality of the situation is, and I'm so glad, and I'll come to you shortly, Dodsey. But I am aware that Raja might have to leave soon also. Raja, are you going to make a move now at this moment in time? Because I know you said about 45 minutes.
It looks like he has.
I think he's gone
Raja's
already.
on mute.
Raja, you still,
I think he's gone to lay
He's hitting
down
the
after,
ejector seat. He's
after
like, I'm
Coach
gone.
Ali.
Raja, you still there? Okay. I think
Your
Raja-
mic's on mute, mate.
Raja, you're on mute.
Can't hear you,
Unmute
Raja.
yourself.
Your mic's on mute, buddy.
Let me see if I
Bottom
can
bottom
Raja, you
column,
still
sir.
there? Oh, I don't know.
You might have
Anyway,
to
he
eject
might-
it, G, if you can. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can.
I think I can just I'll remove him from stage.
There we go.
But yeah, Raja, if you can hear us, just want to say a massive thank you. I know you said you was going to give us 45 minutes, and it's kind of hit that mark now. So thank you so much, Raja, for your time.
Yeah, well done, mate.
on the
Well
show.
spoken as well.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon.
Oh.
Yeah, he's there.
No, he's
Yeah,
not.
we'll see you soon, and then we'll message you.
Did.
But yeah, I think that's the beauty of this stream. I think because what you're not seeing here is you're not seeing anybody kind of blindly blaming, one particular party, whether it be the manager, whether it be the tactics, whether it be Berta, whether it be the players. Because the reality is, and this is what, this is the thing. It's an accumulation.
Yeah.
It's an accumulation of lots of different things.
Okay,
And
no,
that's
that's
why, that's why, and this is what I don't understand, because I'll be honest, I came onto this stream and I kind of had a little bit of obviously the person I really wanted to be here is not here. But I kind of came on the stream thinking, you know what, like this is definitely an Arteta issue. This is definitely a tactical issue.
And it
But-
is.
And it
mainly.
is.
Yeah.
And it is.
Oh,
But
I'm
when
about
you
to throw
hear-
that out
when-
in a minute.
When you, yeah, don't worry, we'll come to you, Dusty. But when I hear, the different perspectives of all the different people on the panel, particularly that last bit where Ali's emphasizes on injuries, like when you actually deep it, like it's true. I mean, if you have players in and out of the team like constantly, I mean, getting injured, coming back, not having much match fitness, then the next player's going out the pitch, and obviously that's going to make the attack somewhat disjointed. So you know what I mean. Dodzy, over to you. Obviously, you've heard from the rest of the panel. Now you have your.
No, that's
say.
all we've got time for today. Thank you
Yeah.
for tuning in.
All right, see you later, boys.
Yeah,
Take care.
I've been
God bless.
I've been biting my tongue
Yeah.
for Raj. I thought first off, I thought Raj came across
I'll see
really
you.
well as well, guys, on the
Yes.
stream.
Yeah.
Raja
I thought he
was-
came across
Raja,
really well.
Thank you for coming on,
Raja was
buddy.
brilliant. Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to hit some of his points up. But no, listen, guys. Obviously, I've listened to everyone on the panel, and again, it's a shame that Raj isn't here. Because I would like to have, stated that I wasn't into Arteta in for the last 6 years, and I still want Arteta to do well for our football club this season. I want him to finish strong. I want him to win us a trophy. I want him to do well. I'm willing the guy to do well, but I also realize that there have been shortcomings this season massively. So I'm going to start with Arteta, and then I'm going to move on to the players as well. So, with my opinion, and again, I think people need to understand and big up everyone in the chat. But these aren't excuses; these are opinions. If it would be a very, very short stream if we all came on here and went, right, the manager's shit, that's it, we're done. Let's finish the stream there and then.
Yeah.
So I think
lazy too, because it's bigger.
Yeah, from a point of view, I think we need to understand that there are, like you said, G, there's several accumulations of issues that's happened this season. And I know coaches, with his sporting background and what he does, injuries are a huge thing. But I'm going to start with Arteta, and I'm going to say, guys, somewhere in the season, Arteta had to change the way he played. I think personally, he started off with very pragmatically in the first few games, but then I think he let the handbrake off a little bit. And I do. When we've gone and played against teams like Aston Villa and beaten them 4-0, when we've beaten, or 4-1, whatever it was, when we've beaten Atletico Madrid 4-0, when we've beaten Bayern Munich, who were unbeaten in 18 games, guys, right? When we've beaten them 3-1 at the Emirates, there have been glimpses of that handbrake coming off. But recently, and I do believe it's pressure, and none of us know what that pressure must be like at the top.
Yeah.
Because Arteta realizes, and I think it's common knowledge, it came out today, and I know people are like, oh, it's the wrong time to come out with this news, and I appreciate that. Maybe it is, maybe it is, but don't forget, everyone's talking about Arsenal right now, so any news that comes out about Arsenal is going to make journalists money. That's what it's about. That's how they make their money. But what's come out now about Arteta, and Bobby on the Football Takeover has said it, there are going to be difficult conversations at the end of the season.
Yeah.
From what we hear, from what we know from our sources on the Football Takeover, there are people up top of the chain that are not happy with the style of football that has been played this season. Right?
That's a fact.
So there will be conversations had. Right? Now, whether that be if he doesn't win a trophy this season, he's got to go. Whether that be if he wins a trophy, he walks and starts a new project somewhere. And, you know, I don't forget what Arteta's done for this club, where we were when towards the end of the Wenger days, towards the end of, the very short Unai Emery moments, you know, good evening. I think we all forget that. And he has elevated this club back to being a formidable challenger in all competitions and a feared club. Still to this day, you talk to any European teams, they don't want to play Arsenal. They're worried about playing Arsenal. Right? So I think we've got to give him some credit. But let's talk about the football and our attack. The guy is a defensive coach. We know that. And I think he is too scared to lose games. It is a control problem. It's a control issue. Right? We know that. Eze, you're sitting out 5 games, mate. You didn't chase back. You didn't track back to defend.
Like he's here for that. Yeah.
Chop, you're on the bench. Okay. Yep. Ødegaard, mid-season before he got injured, played in a game with Erling Haaland for Norway.
Yeah.
Right? They scored 14 goals in that game, was it? 14 goals?
Something like that, 10 to 14.
Something like that, something crazy. Mate, the guy was pipping balls through to Haaland like it was nothing. Right? So you telling me that's not a coaching thing? It is a coaching thing. I think he's changed the way Arteta's changed the way Ødegaard plays because he wants control in the midfield. He's too scared to lose the ball in case there's a counter attack or whatever that may be. So that's my number one. So that's Ødegaard. Do I think Ødegaard has been faced by injuries and stuff? 100%. I think that all adds to it. But don't get it wrong. I think Arteta has changed Ødegaard as a player into more of a controlling number 8 rather than an attacking number 8. So that's number one with Ødegaard. Eze, love him. But let the guy play. You bought him to be that explosive footballer. Let him play his game. He's not going to because he wants to control the game. He wants to control everything. Now, on to Gyökeres. Because people in Discord, people on X have pissed me off with this geezer, right? We are talking about a player, and we can go, the Portuguese league. He only scores in the Portuguese league. He didn't. He scored in the Champions League as well. But the guy has come in and has scored 20 goals. And we've been saying it all season. Yeah. We have been saying it all season. He has had no service. Has he had a few blips? Of course he has, mate. In the last game, he skied one, missed one. Mate, Erling Haaland does it. The guy's got 35 goals this season. He does it, right? So you can't turn around at a professional level that high. Your decision making is split seconds. Sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you get it right. Most of the time he gets it right. The guy hasn't been passed the ball, right? So you cannot judge this guy on his first season at Arsenal. And you know, where Raja made a point about, but he's always fronting up to the ball, to the midfield. I want to see him in behind. Well, the geezer's not getting the ball in behind. No one's passing it in behind. Yeah. So he has adapted his game, and he's tried to adapt it to the Arsenal style of play, which is fronting up to the ball, bringing you other players in around you. but he's been told to do that by Arteta.
Yeah, exactly.
So Arteta has tried to change a guy that scored 52 goals in 2 seasons. He's trying to change him into a Havertz. Right? That's not him. In fact, if you watch, what's his name play, Erling Haaland play, Gyökeres actually plays exactly like Erling Haaland. He does. He doesn't run to the front post. He peels off and looks for that ball across the goal.
Yeah, so you can flash it.
100%. He is a number 9. He is an out and out number 9.
Zero technical ability. Yeah.
Zero. He doesn't need it, mate. Because you give the ball to him in the right position, you're going to bang it in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Arsenal team has said, who hits the ball hardest in training? Gyökeres. Who scores the best goals in training? Gyökeres. Why? Dude, I don't want the guy to do pirouettes on the ball. I'll leave that to David Raya at the back. I don't want him to do pirouettes, mate. I want him to score goals. That's what he's been brought in to do, is score goals, right? So we talk about the next subject, which is, and I go to injuries, and I don't need to put any more on it because I think Coach Ali summed it up brilliantly. Without Ødegaard this season and Saka in that position, they have been the mainstay of this team for the last however many years, right? And we've missed them this season, okay? So I'm going to put it down to recruitment and coaching style for that, because you go out and you buy Madueke, right, for 50-odd million quid, okay? And right next to him is Semenyo. And I sit there and I say to myself, look at what impact this dude is having at Manchester City, right? Maybe not all goals or whatever.
One of the only wingers that's actually having a good season in the league.
There you go.
Thanks.
So you bring in Madueke, and I've never been a fan of Madueke. I think he'll give it heart every single game. I think he'll put the badge on and he'll play his heart out every game, and he'll probably give most of the time a 5, 6. But
effort. Yeah,
100%. But I'm not sitting there looking at him going, "Oh, mate, Semenyo, right?
Yeah.
What a player!" So you haven't bought that player. So I am going to have a go at recruitment. I think Timber's been a big miss, massively. I think Calafiori changes our team from an attacking point of view every time he comes on, because he creates an overload in the midfield. Same with Miles, but defensively, Miles is awful. So we go then to. I'm not going to talk about the left wing because it is no point talking about it. You've got Martinelli, who is just a brainless dumbwit, right? Trying to play football. He is, mate. He is. And you know what? I'll give him credit. In the last game, I actually didn't think he was that bad, but I think he actually played better as a left back rather than a winger. But he's brainless, mate. He's brainless. The one good pass he made, which actually, funny enough, put us really through, if you think about it, to Havertz. But 90% of the time the geezer's brainless. If you want to bring that guy from the bench with 20 minutes to go, amazing. He will run those back guys ragged, right? Trossard just hasn't got it in him anymore, mate. He hasn't got it in him. He just hasn't got it. His legs are gone, mate. He's how old is he now? 30,
31.
31. His legs are gone, mate. Technically, though, if you're starting Madueke on the right wing, you have got to start a technical player on the left wing.
Correct.
We've said it all
You need that
season.
balance. You need that balance.
We've said it all season, mate. You cannot have 2 speed demons that love running into the boards outside the field, right? You can't have that. You have to have one of them as a technical player. We were lucky because a couple of seasons ago, Saka was that technical player as well as the speed demon, right? But let's hope Saka comes back, and let's hope, he's a different player end of the season and next season. I don't personally see it, but let's hope so. And then the midfield as well, guys. And I'm sorry to say this, and I would never have this man back at my club because it disgusts me even saying his name for his antics outside of football, right? But let's just keep our heads straight on the football conversation that we're having. We never replaced Thomas Partey. Zubimendi is a cracking player. Thomas Partey was a level above that, right?
Yeah,
That guy was press resistant, right? And he always looked to move that ball forward, always, right? There is a reason why Thomas Partey was one of Arteta's favorite players, because the dude could defend, but he could turn a defense into an attack with one pass, one ball, one stroke of a ball. But he also allowed Ødegaard more freedom up the pitch because he was so good defensively.
He was.
Right?
He was.
So from my point of view, that is a big miss in this team. And I'll give Zubimendi a free pass this season. Same as I'll give Gyökeres a free pass. Madueke, I want a refund on that because it's faulty goods. So I want a refund on that. Right? But other than that, guys, that's my honest opinion. And I agree with what everyone said. I think everyone has had such good points here tonight.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it does come down to tactics. Right now, where we are in the season, we know he's not going to change it. We know he's not going to change it now. He can't, because he's taught the players a system for the entire season. There's no ways in 6 games he can change that because it's drummed into them. That's the way they want to play football. Let's just hope to God that Timber's back. And although I thought Mosquera did a cracking job the other night as well.
Yeah, he did.
And I'd be happy for him to start against City, if I'm honest with you. But I think Timber just gives you a lot more than that. But for me as well, our defense, our defense, mate, Saliba passing the ball out is so mind-numbingly slow. It stops any quick passing we could create because it's just so slow out the back. There's nothing out the back. And by that time, they've invited their whole team to be behind the ball. Yep. So there's nothing quick about it.
No.
There's nothing quick about it.
You're not passing into gaps. You're passing into men.
Marked men at that because they're not finding space. So if you're in midfield and you're looking forward and you've got 3 forwards and they've got defenders up their arses, you don't want to pass the ball that way.
Hence why you go sideways or back.
The thing you look at straight away, the thing you need to look at straight away is look how City set up against us in the Carabao Cup final.
They just stood there.
They didn't press us. They didn't play a high press. They played a 3-quarter press. And it's as simple as that. They played a 3-quarter press. They didn't care about our midfield behind us because it was all blocked from the front. Yep. And they were like, okay, go on then, pass it out to your wide players. Pass it out to your
But that's where Arteta needs to obviously adjust his in-game management and his tactics and say to his players, right, I want now my goalie. How do we get past this static press? It's a static press.
Just over them. It's a static press.
It's a static press. You chip it into channels. You chip it into your wing backs to get forward. And then those 3 players who are static in their press have now got their number facing our keeper sprinting back.
Yeah, but the problem is...
Whereas we were so idle.
Fellas, we've been online for an hour. And you told me it was going to be an hour.
What can I say?
Why aren't the players, with that press, why aren't the players figuring that out for themselves?
This is my point.
They're too scared. They're too scared of the manager.
What I'm going to say,
they need to figure it out.
Round up, Dobbsy. If you want to say anything.
No, I'm good, G. I think you should get onto it now, mate. I think, just from my point of view, these players need to grow some balls, right, and start using their brains because they're clever enough. They are clever enough. They need to grow some sack on them and actually start to play the game that we all know they can play. Because if the manager's not going to do it, these boys need to grow some balls about them and do it.
The way Arteta speaks and the way the players speak about Mikel, they're like, oh, this guy goes into so much detail, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, right? That's not about coaching, it's options, right? So if I presume, I'm going to guess here and say Arteta's given these boys 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 different scenarios within a game. Now, it's up to if the manager's not giving those instructions, it's up to someone or a few of those players on the pitch to make those adjustments, because you can't have so many. You cannot have I'm sorry, I can't accept that he's
Where'd he go?
only giving out defensive tactics. It doesn't make sense to me. There's got to be some sort of offensive plan that if the game's not going right, we're gonna adjust and just move through the game. So that's also down to the players on the pitch, like Geek said earlier. If it's a 3-man press, then you gotta say something on the pitch. What happens if the stadium's so loud, Arteta's on the sidelines, you can't hear what he's saying? So someone's got to say something on the pitch to be like, let's adjust, let's make that move. And that's the points I was trying to make last night, albeit a little bit heavy and strong. But that's how it's been, and I'm not going to change my opinion. I honestly believe that no matter what happens between now and the end of the season, my opinion of last night is not going to change, whether we win trophies or not, because I don't feel like these players have got the maturity, even though they should have the maturity, to adjust themselves on the pitch. Yeah. Hence why he's always waving them around and pushing them into certain positions, because they're not doing it themselves.
Yeah, their jock straps are too tight.
They're jogging, they're walking. Madueke's walking. Why? If I was Arteta, I'd be shouting and screaming to get him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like Arteta's not perfect. I think Andrea Berta's bought players for Arsenal Football Club and not for Arteta.
Yeah.
Let's be real with that. We know that for a fact because Bobby said that. Andrea Berta's bought all the players this summer. Arteta had a little bit of input, and he's gone and got the majority in for Arsenal Football Club. In case he gets sacked, these players are ready for the next manager. So
I think we should bring Berta on to manage.
Right.
This is the problem now, G. Like, Berta wanted Gyökeres. Berta and Madueke, I don't know what happened there. We know he's on 70 grand a week, so it's a cheap deal. So let's forget the 50 mil. That is not being spent on this guy. He is an extremely cheap deal in this market. 70,000 a week, and we've probably 15, 20 mil up front. So that has not wasted our window. That did not waste our window. What's that?
Was that Madueke? Sorry, I didn't hear.
That was Noni Madueke. Yeah, he's on 70 grand a week, so it's a cheap deal. And we didn't pay 50 million up front.
It's a balance in the budget, though, isn't it?
This is the thing. So we done that deal so we could go get a left winger. But what happened? We didn't get it.
Didn't.
Why? Because Trossard and Martinelli could not find a club.
Couldn't get a move.
So we were left in limbo on that side. That's the problem.
Mate, we could rent him out. We could rent him out with a snowplow attached to him, and he could clear the pitch, mate.
And he still wouldn't.
Right. So there's a lot of nuances to all this. It's an amazing debate, and we might have to do a part 2. God knows.
No, we are. Listen,
but I want to hear G. I want to hear yours.
No, you know what? I'm going to save mine. I'm going to leave the people wanting more.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely going to be a part 2 here. Absolutely. And I want a certain somebody on the stream when I give my opinion. So we'll wait for that.
Well, I'm still waiting. He's doing his course tonight. Someone said. What was it? He's doing a first aid course or something.
CPD, mate. Core Development Training, CDP.
Yeah, obviously,
good
what
for
I
him.
want to say is obviously big up to everybody who obviously is tuned in to the show. Over 100 people have been watching. You've heard from everybody on the panel. You've heard from everybody here in terms of the rationale behind, why is it that we're not scoring goals? Is it the tactics? Is it the players? And I think what we've kind of discovered here really is that this is an accumulation of a lot of things. There's no blaming of the manager. There's no blaming of the players. There's no blaming of the recruitment. In fact, there's probably, as Ali put it, there's probably a percentage of blaming so many different departments in terms of things that have happened over a course or period of time. We are going to pause it. We are going to pause it here. And the reason why I say pause it is because I have a feeling this is going to be a stream that we revisit 100%, because I think this debate is going to rage on for the remainder of the season. It's gonna rage on throughout the transfer window. It's probably going to dictate what Arsenal fans want to see in the transfer window, and I wouldn't put it past anything. I'm not going to put my mortgage on it that we're going to be talking about this even the beginning of next season, whether Arteta's at the club or not. What I do want to say though is I'm glad Raja is back on the screen because I want to big you up, Raja. I think you
Yeah.
made an absolutely phenomenal debut. Obviously, in a normal show, sometimes there would have been more opportunities for you to kind of speak and stuff. But yeah, I just want to big you up because I thought you were amazing. Have you been on the stream before?
I have not been. No, I've not.
Oh,
This is
okay.
Good job, mate. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you did a really, really good job,
Yeah,
man. You
man.
articulated yourself well. You put your points across, and it was really good to have you. And we will definitely, as a platform, be looking forward to you to coming on to future streams. So yeah, thank you very
Yeah, I
much
agree with that.
from me and everybody in the football takeover. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna leave it there.
100%,
We're
mate.
gonna leave you wanting for more. We will be
Thank
back
you, man.
for our preview of the Arsenal versus City game on Saturday night at 6:45 p.m. We'll be back also for a watch along. I've seen that Bobby has already set up. He's doing a watch along, brave man, for the Arsenal versus
OG, are you joining
Arsenal.
him for that?
Arsenal, I don't know, I don't know. For the Arsenal man.
You know
OG
what?
Rennie.
I'm
then
not gonna. You know something? I'll probably watch the game at home because
yeah,
I've watched the last 4 games out, and we've not won at all. So
oh,
and I left the pub.
Brilliant.
Hey.
Oh, it's your
Don't-
bloody
don't-
fault.
don't-
Forget all the
don't-
tactics,
don't-
forget all the
don't-
injuries.
My
It's Brenny's
friend.
fault.
don't
I'll be at
I
the.
just
I'll be at
told-
the
I just
pub.
told
mate.
Nick-
I'll be at the
I
pub.
told Nikhil what I thought about him, man. Yeah, he was, man. He was rocky, man. 25 years gone already. One of my favorite
Yeah, no.
players, and Ian Wright,
Legend.
on the ground there.
for real, man, for real.
Love it,
Nice, a
Brent.
nice background still. But yeah, we
I
will
thought
be
it was,
back.
I thought it was Brady in his shorts, mate.
He said he was a striker.
No,
He
no.
said he was
And he said he was quick.
Yeah,
He said he was sharp.
yeah, but I know. Yeah, but
Oh,
I know. But if I play Rocky, I'll be bragging about it every show.
All right.
for real. But yeah,
G, before we go,
Ali, come on,
Ian
bro.
Wright. What did Ian Wright say today? Ian Wright has been echoing what we said last night and what we've just said.
Yes.
Yeah. Boy,
He has.
this is what I'm saying. So we know what we're talking about, right? And even someone like Ian Wright, who's Mr. Positive, Mr. Arsenal, and all that,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
he's saying the same things about these players and the mentality and so on. So let's just relax and just blame a little bit on everybody.
Yeah.
You can't just keep blaming the manager for players not doing in-game stuff themselves as well.
And you know what I liked about what Ian Wright said, yeah, is because Ian Wright, ex-pro, pundit, Arsenal legend,
Won
he's
everything
literally-
apart from
he's literally sitting there. And this is what I said in the Discord the other day. I said, I don't have a problem with Arsenal fans believing that we're going to win every single game and we're going to walk away with the Champions League, the title. He's going to sign a contract and we're all going to live happily ever after singing Kumbaya. I got no issue with that. If that's how you feel, express it. You'll never see me in the Discord on X telling anybody that's not how you should think and you're delusional and you're a clown and you don't know what you're talking about. But the same way I won't do that. I'm not expecting someone to say to me, you're being negative. You're not a true Arsenal fan if you don't think we're going to get a result, because these are just opinions.
Correct.
And I think it was actually really nice to actually see somebody like Ian Wright, who gave so much to the club, top pro, Arsenal legend, so still invested in the club. And he actually literally said that today when I think he was going back and forth.
Roy Keane overlap.
And he said, literally, like, bro, I'm worried. Like, I'm concerned, innit? Like, obviously, he literally said, like, I was masking a lot of the times how we were playing because we were getting results.
There you go.
However, we've got to this point now and I'm feeling nervous and I'm feeling edgy because I'm not seeing on the pitch what I would like to see on this stage. Absolutely. So, you know what? Big up Ian Wright. And I think this is just a message to everybody who's watching the show and whoever's in the Discord that, listen, let Arsenal fans express their opinion. Your opinion does not have to be the same as somebody else's opinion. All you've got to do is just be respectful. You don't have to agree. And sometimes you just have to say, you know what? I was having a debate with somebody about Gyökeres online today, and big him up because we went back and forth for God knows about 20 or 25 odd posts. And at no point did we get personal. At no point did we irritate one another. And in the end, I said, you know what, mate? I'm in the gym. We've been doing this all morning. I'm just going to agree to disagree. And we sent a couple of laughing emojis to each other, and that was it. We started talking about something else, so we won't talk for a couple of weeks. And I think that's the key here. So we are gonna leave you wanting more.
Just got a question, Jay.
I'm joking. I am gonna round up the show. Okay. We are back at 6:45. We are back at 6:45 p.m. On Saturday for a preview of the Man City game. Bobby is here for a watch along on Sunday, and we are back again for an instant reaction at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. So any last thoughts before I end this stream, lads?
I've got a few. I've got quite a few actually. You sitting comfortably, guys. Let's.
Listen, my missus is gonna kill me. I'm supposed to be going to at 9.
My daughter's like literally here looking at me with square eyes, mate.
You can blame me.
I want to shout out Thierry as well, Thierry Henry.
Okay.
Big up to him as well for similar opinions to Ian, right? Talking about the fire, talking about all of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I saw that.
He's like a public figure for us. I want to shout him out as well.
Exactly. Absolutely. So we're not deluded in what we're saying. This is a reality.
And that is what we're going to end on, okay?
Yes,
AFC UK,
then our man.
G, we're all Arsenal through and through. All opinions matter. And on that,
100%.
You know we will
especially on the takeover.
Absolutely. We will see you on Friday, Saturday at 6:45, Sunday for the watch along, and Sunday 6:30 for instant reaction. Until then,
enjoy your film, G.
Gunners.
See you later.
See you later, guys.
Take care.